Ty Juan. Get up closer. Okay. I'll go here.
You're in a home.
Huh?
You're on the wrong one.
What?
Get rid of that.
Do it because I don't want to touch. Oh, here it is. Indie Show, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. I believe you can
I'm
get
right
rid of
here.
that one. Hold on.
Okay.
So we will
No, this
switch.
is on the wrong page. Okay.
And you can minimize that so it doesn't go.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got it.
So, so
Okay. You have to be sure we're connected. How are you, Taiwan?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine tonight. I'm doing fine. I'm glad that we're here, and I'm glad we're connected. You know, it's been kind of rough this week, but we got through it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. How is Atlanta tonight? Is it raining there or what?
You know what? It rained a little bit earlier, but it's pretty clear.
It's pretty
Pretty clear.
clear.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I was listening to a lot of your music, and it's some real great music that you've done.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, and Gilbert and I said, you know, and we're really impressed with the music that you've done. But what made you pursue a music career?
You know what? I this is my definite story. Um, I think I came out the womb singing,
You did?
but but I'll say this: I know at 5, my parents really started paying attention to what I was doing,
Hmm.
and my father, when I was about
Can I take
probably
it?
about 7 or 8,
No, it's not.
um, I was a huge Michael Jackson fan. So my father would, I get all kinds of Michael Jackson memorabilia,
right.
posters, all of that good stuff.
Okay.
And my father owned this bar in Jersey City, and he used to take me to this bar and let me
Uh-huh.
perform Michael Jackson. So like he put me in the middle of the floor, turn on the
And how
jukebox
did you
with Michael
do?
Jackson.
How did you do?
I thought I was Michael Jackson. Yeah, definitely. I thought I was Michael Jackson.
Were
So
you doing all those moves and all those turns and everything?
I was doing all the moves. And so, I would always come home with a couple $100 from the people that was there. So, I used to get happy. And then, before I knew it, I was asking him all the time, like, please take me. And he'd be like, no, I can't bring you tonight. But you know,
Jay.
I love to be in front of people. I love to perform, and so that's how I started.
Well, you know, that's an interesting story. So they knew from the beginning that their son was talented. Is that correct?
I would think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Gilbert, can I start again? Okay.
No.
Um,
Keep going.
you are a songwriter, right? And you've written many songs. Okay, and I was listening to a lot of these songs, and there's some good songs that you've written.
Thank you.
What and who encouraged you to write these songs? I mean,
Well,
how did it all
I say
begin?
this.
That's what I want to ask. How did it all begin?
So for me, I had a lot of influences coming up. So my parents introduced me to a lot of different types of music. Like it wasn't always like you would think it would be like R&B and that type of thing, but they introduced me to all kinds of music. So it's R&B, pop, rock,
Okay.
soul, um, blues. my father was a big blues fan. He loved blues music. Um, so I listened to a little of everything. And so I just kind of, I was able to, do a couple things as far as pick up, from other artists. But, when it came time to actually start writing, I didn't write until I was probably in middle school. I
Okay.
used to kind of doodle a little bit. I didn't really want anybody to see it or hear it or anything like that. So I started out writing poetry.
Okay. Yeah, that's
And
what
so,
a lot of us did.
yeah, so, I had friends that would read it and say, hey, you know what? You should turn these into songs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, one day I just got the courage, turned it into a song and just started keeping them as songs. But I still wasn't all that um, open to let other people hear it.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
it wasn't until we went to, me and a couple friends, we were at the mall playing around, and
Mm-hmm.
they had this, those booths that have the the little recording thing in the mall where you go in and you record
Yeah.
like a song of one of your favorite. I did one of those, and so we asked the man to not play a background track and let us just sing. So that's what we did,
That's
and
great.
that's how we formed a group.
It is.
And we
Okay.
started saying, you know what, this is what we're gonna do. And so then we had some people that was in our area that was actually into music, and so they introduced us to somebody at a studio. He then had a producer friend that he worked with, which was a guy by the name of Clay Collins. He was
Okay.
a white guy. He was blind,
Hmm.
and it was very interesting because he knew, like, as soon as we came in, and he said, "Sing your song," and I sang it, and he just started playing around me.
Okay.
So, and he built the track, and he sang the song with me, and he gave me pointers and all of that good stuff. And so,
Yes.
when it came time to record it, he came in and recorded some of the backgrounds and all of that good stuff. So, the song came out pretty good. Came
Okay.
out pretty
All
good.
right. But right now I wanted to, like I said, I listened to some of your material. So we want to listen to little inserts of your song and your songs, and you tell us, what made you create that song? Was it happiness? Was it emotion? What were your thoughts creating that song?
Okay.
Okay. So let's go and visit some of these songs. Okay.
Girl, I've been.
Come here.
Now I'm ready to move on to actions like, can I get to know you better? Baby, can I hit your line? Ever since the day I met you, I can get you out my mind. The more I pursue it, looks like we'll finally do it, yeah. Make it my baby, drive you crazy, yeah. First I gotta know if you're available. Are you ready for love? Cause
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for love. I really need to know if you're available. Cause I got so much love to give. Baby, you know I'm just trying to cuff you. Cause you say you need someone that's
What to
cool.
do? Okay. Tell us a little bit about that song, Available.
Okay. So Available is actually my first single off brand new project
Okay.
called Safe Word. It's gonna be out October 30th.
Okay.
And the motivation behind that song is it's definitely one of those. when you meet somebody and they pique your interest, you're intrigued by them, and me, I'm one of those people who, once I meet you and I like you, my mind just starts to go. So, I'm thinking of all kinds of things in the future. Like I plan ahead. So, I, with this song, it's about planning ahead and not really asking the details. Like, are you single? Are you available?
Yes.
That type of thing. So that's basically what it is. It was basically about getting a little ahead of myself, but
Okay. All right. And that'll be out October 30th.
absolutely.
Okay. Let's take a couple more. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's listen to.
He said, "Are you single? Are you available? Did you get
Okay.
tested?"
We're going to listen to.
Ride the wave.
We're going to listen to Hood Groove. Wait a minute. Let me see.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. No, I'm okay. Ready?
Yeah.
It's a dance song.
Baby, I ain't looking for no other. And you don't gotta worry if we keep it undercover. You can tell the whole world if you wanna. Cause every day I feel it getting stronger. You're a blessing and I know it. I don't never wanna lose you. I don't wanna blow it. You play my position like a quarterback in a huddle. And when you make it rain, baby, I enjoy the puddles. She know she a winner. I ain't gotta gas her up. Had me from the jump. I ain't never been fast enough. Staying first.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Oh man. Me, I'm one of those I love women who are, they can be strong and classy. But I like them with a little bit of hood in them. So so with that song, it's basically saying she could be hood when she want to be, she can be good when she want to be, and it doesn't mean that it's not sexy. So that's the basis of it.
Okay. Now I'm going to play my favorite. Okay.
Okay.
I listen to Christ. So I want to play my favorite song, and it's called Motivation. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. It's pretty. It's a good song.
Baby, you've been working all week. I know you're tired of standing on your feet. I don't wanna see you shake it for your boy one time. I'm not thirsty, but I desire you. Girl, you're not required to. I just wanna have a little good time with you tonight. Baby, we can rock the boat, rock the boat. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby,
Okay. A little bit about motivation.
Motivation is I think in every relationship, you know, the person that you're with, you definitely want them to motivate you. You want them to be the motivation to whatever it is that you're doing. Like
That you're doing.
I think that sometimes that's what kills a relationship. There's no
Mm.
you don't that person doesn't motivate you. And I think it's for me, it's about being motivated. Me motivating you, you motivating me. So
Okay. That was a good song. That's a good song. Now,
thank
is that on social media also?
absolutely. That's actually on my previous project, which was called Signature 3.
Okay.
So that's actually available right now on every uh, platform out there.
Okay. Well, you've done a lot, and you're still doing a lot in your music career. Now, who were your and are your influences?
You know, um, growing up, I had a lot of them. Of course, Michael Jackson was one.
Okay,
Um,
Michael Jackson. Mm-hmm.
big Stevie Wonder fan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Donny Hathaway, Bobby Brown, New Edition, and then the '90s hit.
Okay.
So I was a little kid then. Then the '90s hit, and as I started to come up, um,
And right.
then R. Kelly, Dave Hollister, um, Babyface is probably one of my favorites only because I wanted to definitely be like Babyface in the fact that he can write anything
You write
and
anything? Yes.
make anything sound good.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, he dominated the charts like they were like the first five songs on the charts all belonged to him. They were either written by him, produced by him, or he had some type of hand in it. And that's that was my goal. That was my goal to be that person.
All right. All right. Well, I think you're doing a good job. You're traveling towards that musical journey, and I think you're doing a good job with those songs. Now, before the pandemic, were you doing live performances?
Um, yeah, yeah,
Doing
was definitely we definitely had some things ready to go. Um, for 2020.
mm-hmm.
2019 had really picked up for me,
Yeah.
and so we had a lot of goals set for 2020, and pandemic came and changed it for everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, being that I have some respiratory issues, it's a little more concerning for me because I'm a little bit more apprehensive now. When I get show offers and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, nobody's really, doing too much. But I think we're getting to a point where we may be okay.
Yeah.
Where things are starting to
Well,
get back to normal. Because I think that's what everybody wants. That's
that's
the
what we
overall
want.
goal.
Yeah.
We
That's what we
we want to
want.
get back to normal. We want things to be like they were, and they may never be. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that it may not be better,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It may
Build
be
back
actually be
better,
better.
right? Build back better.
This pandemic really taught us all a lesson.
Yes.
It made us get back in touch with people. It made us miss the small things, like being able to interact with people
Mm-hmm.
and hugging your friend
Right.
or your mother
And
or
it made you just stop and be still. You know, you just had to
yeah,
stop and be still and pray, you know?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that even though we miss it, I think we'll be a little bit more mindful
Yeah.
of everything going forward. I think we won't overlook the small things anymore. And
Well,
so I'm
well,
optimistic and I'm actually excited about what the future holds.
what the future holds, right? Well, like during this time, it's a time where we learn new stuff. We use the time constructively and we learn how to do new things. Um, and during this time from February to as of now, are these some of the songs that you have written? Did you write some of these songs during this time?
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
available and hood good. I
Okay.
did those. I wrote those during this time. To be honest with you,
Uh-huh.
I probably have about four projects worth of music that I've
Mm.
written during the pandemic. At one point I was going nonstop,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got sick in February,
Yeah. Okay.
and I lost my voice
Okay.
for a couple months.
Mhm.
I couldn't sing, and so as soon as my voice came back, like I kept trying, and I kept trying to push it, but I just couldn't get what I was used to. I couldn't
Okay.
get certain things out,
Mhm.
and I was feeling it. Like I know myself, so I know what I can and what I can't do. And
Right.
so I started feeling it coming back in the day that I was able to hit like some of my falsettos and all of that, and I was like, okay, that's it. And I hit the ground running, and I just kept writing and
Right.
recording.
Mhm.
I mean, like 5 and 6 songs a day. Like especially if I wasn't like if I had nothing going on, about five being out about 5 or 6 songs that whole day.
Mm. So you have your own studio?
Yes, I have studio at home that I work out of, and it's a lot easier for me.
Yeah. Okay. Mm.
What's your
Well,
favorite software?
what Gilbert is my partner is here, and he wants to know what is your favorite software that you use?
Um, I actually, and this is the thing, a lot of people don't know this, but
Oh,
I actually use Reaper.
Reaper.
So
You told me. Yeah.
yeah, no, some people use Pro Tools and Logic
Yeah.
and
Roger.
all of those, but I
Uh-huh.
find Reaper to be a little bit more user friendly. It's
Okay.
it's very similar to Pro Tools and
Mhm.
its functionality and everything that you can do with it. So it's not very different at all, but I just like it a little bit better because I can take everything um out of Pro Tools that I like, and I can add it to Reaper and use it.
Oh,
So that's the reason why I like Reaper.
okay. Now, do you or have you collaborated with others?
Absolutely. I actually did a project last year with an artist by the name of Shondella. She's a singer songwriter herself, and we did a project, and we actually formed a duo that we call Smooth Blend, and we did a project February last year. We actually won a groundbreaking award for best duo with
Okay.
that.
And
The
she has, does she have a single out also?
um no when you no no when you say a single, you mean does she have like new music out?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, she actually had a project that she released back in January.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
that's her project is called Stay. You can check that out. She's got some really good songs on there. Um, we um did the mixing and the mastering on her project. I think I produced probably 90% of it,
Hmm.
and so we rocked it out. Like we
Okay.
had a we
Okay.
had a good time. I think we have real good chemistry. When it comes to music. So I also collaborated with a songwriter by the name of Makalani, and
Makalani.
yeah, Makalani. We did a song called "Oxygen of Freedom,"
Okay.
and it was released about two months ago,
Hmm.
and it's doing pretty good. It's a song about what's going on in society. With the police brutality,
Mm.
and
Mm. Mm.
walking around saying we're free when we're not really free. So that's
I know. I know.
that's basically what the song is about. So I was honored to be able to do that with him, and so
Okay. Now, Tawan, do you classify yourself as just an R&B singer, or do you sing other types of music also?
Um, that's a good question. So, probably I would say more so like R&B soul. I've dabbled a little bit, and I've tried different things. Like I've even done gospel,
Okay.
which I love.
Yeah.
Um, done don't laugh, but I've done a country song.
Okay. I'm not
Um,
gonna laugh, but it's fine. Yeah.
pop. I've done some pop stuff. So I've done a little of everything. I haven't done any rock, so I'll say that I haven't done any rock, any heavy metal, anything like that. I just can't. That's not something I'm into.
Okay. Well, do you ever think you will do some gospel tunes and put them out, some originals?
I say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely say yes. I've done some. I actually did a whole gospel project. I'm just kind of. It's just sitting.
Oh,
It's just sitting right now.
why?
Um, I think at the time when I did it, sometimes, and not to get preachy or anything like that.
Hmm.
Sometimes um, God call you to do different things, right? And I
Yeah.
felt like God wanted to teach me something. So at the time, I worked on some music. I
Mm-hmm.
actually went and actually performed at a church in Florida with Ernest Pugh,
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
and it was uh, it was interesting. It was interesting, but it was funny because the pastor, after I was done, he told me to not be afraid to do what it is that's in my heart.
Okay.
He said, I could tell that the R&B music is in you. I could tell that that's in your heart, and I could tell that that's where your love is, and I think that that's what you should do.
Okay. Okay.
And it's funny because a friend of mine had a similar conversation with the pastor not too long ago, who she was only doing gospel music, and she had a conversation with the pastor very very similar to mine, and he told her the same thing. Don't worry about what other people think. Worry about what you feel in your heart and what God has called you to do.
Yeah.
And so she reached out to me and said, hey, I'm open to doing some R&B stuff. And so I was honored that she reached out to me. She was I'm not one of those people who name drop. So she was a person who was she was a finalist on The Voice,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was, she reached out to me, and I was happy about it.
Okay.
That's an opportunity to work with somebody that I feel like is real dope.
Okay. Mm. Well, that makes a lot of sense because you put your heart into what you do,
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm sure that as time go by, um, you'll get some gospel tunes out here for us to listen to, and I know they're going to be very well written and very well sung, you know. So we're going to wait for
yeah.
that. Now, do you play an instrument?
Um, you know what? So uh, I learned to play the piano last year. So I got pretty good. I got pretty good. At least that's what I think. And this year during the pandemic, I decided to learn to play the acoustic guitar. Um, they didn't go so well. It go so well. It only because I couldn't find the time to do it. Like after
Yeah.
after I got better, I just wanted to record, and so I found it real hard to concentrate on the because I had paid for classes to
Mm-hmm.
so I'm in these online classes not paying attention.
I know.
So um
I
so
know. I
yeah,
know.
it's the I played the saxophone, when I was a teenager. I learned to play the tenor sax actually, and I loved it. I
Okay.
loved it. Started teaching myself how to play other songs, because I was in a band in school, and so I was in a regular marching band, and then I got chosen to be in a jazz band. So we got to play different stuff. I got to play, um, all different all different kinds of music. Played some Smokey Robinson. Got to play.
Oh, love. Yes.
We actually played Bad, Michael Jackson Bad, and I
Uh-huh.
was, yeah. So I would be at home playing Michael Jackson Bad on my saxophone, and to like 12 o'clock at night, and my mom would be like, "Okay, enough. I've heard enough." so
Well, that's really good now. You have a manager, right? Ron
absolutely,
Schuler?
Ron.
Yeah.
Yep, Ron
And
Schuler.
I'm sorry he couldn't be with us tonight, but he tried. But how did you and he meet?
So me and Ron met some years back when I had moved to Alabama. He was like one of the first people I met, and it was funny because when I first got there, um, didn't really know anybody, and my sister, her husband, knew everybody. So he was like, "I heard you sing, I heard you was you did this and this," and I was like, "Oh yeah." He was like, "Well, I got some people I want you to meet." So he took me over to Ron's house, and Ron had studio equipment and all of that stuff set up, and he was just getting started,
Mm.
and so we started recording, um, and we had some good little stuff, and then before I knew it, we had a whole crew. So we had artists. Yeah, we had it wasn't just myself. I was actually in a group. We had a female artist, we had rap artists, we had everything. And before we knew it, we had become one of the talks of the town. So,
Okay.
and at one point, the Southern movement started, and the labels came, and they came looking for all of the Southern talent, especially when Outkast came out, and all of
Hmm.
them. So they were looking for the next that, and we we were just doing our thing. For me, um, he wasn't really managing at the time because he
Hmm.
was he was like more so focused on running his company, and so I decided that I wanted to do something else. I had some personal things going on at the time, and so I needed to go. So yeah, I went back home, and I came back maybe about a month or so late. Well, I won't say a month or so, maybe 6 months down the line, I came back, and I decided not to go back there, and it wasn't anything to do with him or anything like that, because he's like a big brother. So I just kind of was not sure what I wanted to do at the time, and an opportunity presented itself to me, and I found myself in another group, and getting ready to sign a deal with Universal. So I had a vocal trainer that I came back to, and she said, "Well, I got something for you. If you want to do it, I want to introduce you to Jane Harley, her father.
Mhm.
was Hal Jackson. He was like the first black radio personality on radio.
All right. Okay.
So, and you know, he had the man. There was a show he had that came on radio on Sundays. It was syndicated on every single radio station because of who he was.
Mm.
Um, so I was like, cool, you know, went to meet her, and she was like, she was no nonsense, like she was straight to the point, and you know,
Okay.
so she said, I'm gonna take you guys to the Apollo. Don't embarrass me, because if you embarrass me, I don't know you.
All right.
So she took us out there, and we won.
Okay. You won?
And yeah, we won. We won. It was
Yes.
and
Yes.
it wasn't. So you know how they show it on TV?
Mm.
It's a lot different. When you go to the actual one, the one they have on Wednesdays, oh, it's brutal. It's brutal. So we were
Brutal.
happy,
Brutal.
you know.
It's brutal because of the
How
the
they the slightest the
audience.
yeah, the audience, they're brutal. So the like we were sitting there watching people get booed left and right. And I
Okay.
mean that like the bad boo, like they was like jumping on the stage like boo, like in your face.
Oh, wow.
So but we, you know, we went out there and it was crazy because we sang a cappella and
God.
we didn't know how that was gonna bowl over. We were like, oh man, you know. So what we did was we had it where we sung a cappella first, and then we went into the song because they gave us 5 minutes. So we sang a cappella, and when the crowd went crazy, we was like we started smiling at each other like, yeah, we got them.
We
And
got
so
him, huh?
the
Okay.
music kicked in and we sang or whatever, and they loved it. So they asked us to come back, and by that time we had then got invited to go to California, so we couldn't go back to battle the following week. So we went out to California. We met with a man by the name of Ken James,
Mm-hmm.
who was with he was actually with MCA at the time, and MCA was merging with Universal.
Okay.
So we went on ahead and we signed
Mm.
with him. We brought him we brought a one song demo because we recorded it the night before, so
Well,
we were real unprepared. So yeah, we brought him that one song demo,
mhm.
and he actually loved it,
Okay.
and he was
But
like,
why
he,
did you why did you leave the group, the band, or the group that you were with?
so there here was the thing about that whole situation was we never had a manager.
Okay.
We never had a manager, and so there was some guys in the group that didn't need to be there. And so, you know, what I did was I explained it. And so he said to me, if you want to be a part of Universal, you got to get me four guys that can sing, not not this.
Mm-hmm.
So we went and we found two other guys that could sing, and we formed the group. So then at that point, we needed to get our own management.
Okay.
So we ended up with a manager, and we probably should have did some research, but we didn't. And long story short, um, the deal ended up dying like literally before our eyes because too many internal issues, and for that it just turned me off
Okay.
from everything, and so
Mhm.
I had to literally step back for a while,
Okay.
and so I did that. I stepped back, and you know, it was hard, you know, but in 2009,
Mm-hmm.
I started back doing music again.
Okay. Okay.
And I started decided, I don't want to depend on anybody else. And
Like you want to depend on yourself.
right, I wanted to only, if I was gonna fail, it was gonna be because I failed myself.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I moved to New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
started doing music, um, and I got on this circuit, and I was literally performing with everybody.
Good.
So people had started taking a liking to me and all of that, and I was getting invited to sing at birthday parties, and
Mm.
when I say birthday parties, like not kid parties and nothing like that, but like literally celebrity parties who were people in the industry and all of that. So I was doing that. I got a chance to be on some writing teams
All
and
right.
write for some big name artists. So I got to do a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I decided I was going to put out a project,
Mm-hmm.
which at the time, auto tune was real big. So I
Hmm.
decided I'm going to come out with this project called Auto Tune Love Child. So I go in and I record the project, um, and I upload it, to be released and all of that. This can be my first project, and my father passed away.
Oh
Hmm.
God.
So my father passes away, and I don't even promote the project. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
even think about the project coming out. So it,
mm-hmm.
it comes out, and I don't do anything. I don't say anything to anybody. And I literally go to trying to pull it down and all of that. And before I know it, it's on free sites and all of that. So I just left it. I just didn't even didn't bother. I just left it there. And I took a break again, and I came back. Like I would drop songs here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but it wouldn't be anything that I was really trying to do serious until about 2014.
Okay.
So
Okay.
then in 2014, all the songs I had recorded up until then, I was trying to sell, right?
Just sell them
So
outright. Just sell them outright.
yeah, I was trying to sell them outright. So I saw that a group that I like was in the middle, and the name of the group was Public Announcement. So I saw that they were releasing a project, or where they were in the middle of putting together a project.
Mm-hmm.
And so um, I reached out to their label and said, hey, I got these songs. I'm trying to figure out, if these guys are, still recording, or how that's going on, but I'd like to present some songs to you, and you guys tell me, what you want to do. So the CEO got right back to me the same day, like, oh my God, these songs are, I love them.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do? And so, I began, conversating back and forth with the CEO. And then she said, hey, the lead singer of the group, Felony, would like to speak to you. So I was like, wow, okay. So, I get on the phone with him, and we talk on the phone for hours,
Oh, okay.
like almost like we knew each other.
Each other for a long
We had
time.
we had
Mm-hmm.
similar stories. He had literally been through some of the same things that I had been through, and so it was a real good conversation. And so we started working on their project, and then I guess it must have dawned on them. And they're like, hey, who do you get to sing the songs? Like, I understand that you're writing them, but who do you get to sing the songs? And I was like, oh, that's me. And she said, that's you? And I said, yes. She said, I'm gonna call you right back. And
Yes.
so so she called me right back, literally like 15 minutes later. It was like, you ever thought about being an artist?
A soloist, yes.
Yeah, so I said, hey, I just want let me give you a brief background. I told her, and then she said, we'd actually like to sign you. We definitely want to do something with you.
Okay.
We think that can you send us a couple of photos? So I sent them a couple of photos, and then she wrote back and was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We need to get this contract done immediately. So
All right.
um, I was like, okay. And she was like, you do you know when you want to, you're thinking about your project or when you want to do? So I said, hey, give me 2 weeks. I had a project done, ready to go.
All right. Good, good. Well, you are certainly moving towards your musical journey. You're keeping it alive, and you've done so much. You know,
Yeah,
you really have. And like Gilbert and I are proud of all your accomplishments. And what a
thank you,
story that you just told us tonight. You
thank you.
know,
I
you
appreciate that.
you've told us a great story, and you took it from the top all the way down, and you're still moving towards that story.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and I mean, the story was interesting, and it was realistic, and it was a lot. It was some sadness in it because you had to leave the group and all that. But now look at you. You're merging to be one of the greatest singers.
Yeah, sometimes
And
we
that
we,
was a
we gotta
great
we
story
gotta
you told
fall.
us. Now, Taiwan is a couple things before we leave that I want to ask you. Okay,
Okay.
and if you had to give words of inspiration to others, who others that want to sing, want to be a songwriter, what words would you give them?
I would definitely tell them to learn the business. I think
Okay.
that's the most important part of it is it's definitely more than just writing a song. It's definitely more than just being an artist. You need to know the business side of it because it can be difficult. And I learned a lesson the hard way by just being happy go lucky and just wanting to sing and just wanting to write songs. Well, there's some people that don't have your best interest, and so you have to definitely understand the business side of it and just be mindful
Well, how do they
of
learn
everything.
that? How do they? I hear people say, always learn the business. How do they learn that?
I say this: Russell Simmons wrote a book called "Everything You Need to Know About the Music Business."
Okay.
I think it was a very very powerful book. Um, 50 Cent's 50 Laws. That's definitely a book everybody should read. And then you have producers and other artists who've actually made it that have come back and they've given their take on it. Because the business is a little bit different now. It's
Yeah.
more so now about social media and
Mm-hmm.
streaming and that type of thing. So it's a lot different than what it was, back then and now
Yeah. Old school
yeah,
days.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now you have to really really pay attention to numbers and streams and likes and that kind of thing. So it's very important to learn everything that you can possibly learn.
Okay. And now, if someone wanted to reach you, um, how would they find you? How would they reach you?
I am on every platform you could possibly think of. Um, I don't want to get us kicked off. So I'm just gonna
Okay.
say, look me up under Taiwan or at I am Taiwan, and you'll definitely find me.
Hmm. Okay, because I've been on social media platforms, and I see a lot of you on there. And I said, well, let me click on this, let me click on that, and everything I click on, I really like.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I
Thank
really
you.
like everything you click. Do you have an email where they could reach you?
Yeah, definitely. You could reach me at taiwanmusic@gmail.com.
Okay.
And Taiwan is spelled Tyjuan. So you got taiwanmusic@gmail.com.
Okay, then. Well, I want to thank you tonight for coming on the show. I really, and that was a story. I mean, you told us a story like we haven't heard before or in a long time. It's a great story. So I
Thank you.
want to wish you well. And I want to tell you that Gilbert and I are always here, and we have Philly Live Radio, and we played your tune last week. And make sure you listen. It's Tuesday. I've got to send you all the information because
Okay.
we're going to play it Tuesday between 7 and 8 o'clock on Philly Live Radio. Okay, and we'll be playing it. And the more emails we get sent to the radio station, that's when the song is okay, and then it's filtered through the rotation on the radio station. So you have to make sure everybody, email us at phillyliveradio@gmail.com. Okay, when they hear your song, and then that's how it gets filtered on and it's played you know, all day. Okay. Okay,
Nice.
so now I want to say to you again, I want to thank Ron and you for your hard work and your dedication to the music industry. And we're always here to, as you go along traveling your musical journey and you want to update what you've done, you always have an open door to come back.
Well, thank you so
Okay?
much. I really appreciate you having me. Um,
Okay.
Thank you guys for playing my music and continuing to support. It means a whole lot to me. So I definitely appreciate that.
Okay. And take care of yourself and tell Ron we said hi.
Yes, ma'am. I will definitely do that. I will be speaking to him after this.
Okay. Thanks, Tawan.
Hey,
Okay.
you got it. You guys enjoy your day.
Okay. You do the same. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye.